COVID is spreading so rapidly. If you notice, it just happened almost overnight, just in the last month. And so, no, it's not a failure. But the alarm bell went off. I don't think anybody anticipated that this was going to be as rapidly spreading as it did.
That's not going to age well for Joe Biden. The president claims a new variant came out of nowhere, even though the White House warned everybody about it weeks ago. And now his own CDC director says he's full of it. Watch.
We anticipated this. This is what we have been preparing for. There have been doubling times of this virus in other countries that have had the virus before us in the 1.5 to 3 day range. And so this is exactly what we anticipated.
Biden also being called out for the long wait lines just to get a test and a shortage of at-home ones. But let's not play into Biden's doom and gloom winter of death message. There's some very good news on the COVID front. The new study says Omicron has an 80% lower risk of hospitalization. And even though Biden doesn't want to talk about this, the FDA just authorized a potential game-changing antiviral pill to treat COVID that greatly decreases hospitalizations and death. It could become available in the next coming weeks. So I think we all have to acknowledge here we're in boxes. We don't want to be in boxes. We hate being in boxes. We resisted being in boxes. We were told to be in a box out of abundance of caution just to get us through the holidays. And hopefully we'll be back to normal table situation when we return from said holiday. Greg Gutfeld, it's great to see you. Your thoughts on the COVID developments?
Yes, I find it heartbreaking that I can't be close to Harold, that we're this love in the time of pandemic is destroying us. There he is, so far away, yet I can see him. I can almost touch him, but I won't. You know, it's amazing how far ahead this show has been on a lot of things. For example, we were the first show, I think, to talk about the travel ban and to talk about telemedicine. And yet there seems to be all these epiphanies happening on other networks, and Fauci saying, you know what, we should focus on the severity and not the number of cases. And CNN's like, wow, that's a great idea. It's like, no, we have been saying this forever. And that's why what we said about Omicron is that you're going to see a lot of cases, but not a lot of severity. And so the cases are mild, and then that leads you to the next thing. What is the government and what is Fauci doing with this 10-day isolation thing? If everybody is being tested and getting Omicron, why are they forced to sit home for 10 days? We know what the right thing to do is, and that is today to cut that down to 3 or 4 days and let people get back to work, especially my staff on Gutfeld who are sitting at home watching me right now. Omicron is the next to the last scene in a movie after the climax, where the townspeople thank the hero. The villain is seemingly defeated, but then in that last scene, the villain rises up, and then he's easily vanquished. This pandemic movie is about over. The estimated running time, it's going to end on February 1st. A lot of us are going to have Omicron. We're going to be fine. We just have to work together and also be patient with our befuddled government. One last movie analogy. Remember with Rocky, it was Apollo Creed versus Rocky, but then the next sequels, they were working together. They became partners. That's kind of what we have to be with the government now. They need our help. They're like a blind man in an unfamiliar room. And we're in that room, and we've got to offer them guidance and help to get to the right decisions. We actually now have to take the lead and announce that this ends on February 1st.
All right. And you really think your staff is at home watching you right now, Greg?
They adore me. Unlike your staff, who just hate you with a passion.
My staff's definitely not watching me right now. Harold Ford Jr., do you reciprocate Greg Gutfeld's longing for you?
A lot of love between us on this show. I'm glad to be back around the proverbial table, and absolutely, I would say this, Jesse, about the substance at hand. I think we are kind of in a got you moment all the time around this thing. I mean, anytime we can have a politician that says something that we may disagree with or may differ with something or subsequently be contrary to something he or she may said, we jump on them a little bit. I think the science is changing. And I think where Greg is most pointed, where he's most right, is that it's going to take people. It's going to take business leaders. It's going to take everyday workers, everyday families to be the one to lead us through all of this. And if we get through this variant here, I think we will find ourselves, because of what scientists and doctors are saying, that this thing is so transmissible and that herd immunity could rise so quickly. But that should not dissuade anyone from getting the vaccine, those who are eligible for getting a booster, getting the booster, because I think we don't know fully what's in front of us over the next several months. I hope and believe and pray this is the last stages of it. But if it's not, one thing is for certain: our best weapon against the virus, against those who may have wanted this virus to get to us, and our best way to be able to compete and keep schools open and our economy open is to get vaccinated.
Well, I, for one, enjoy jumping on politicians, Harold, because they work for us. And Katie, I think it's worth pointing out that this is the second time that this has happened. Earlier this week, Kamala Harris said, oh, you know, none of the scientists told us this was going to spread and come so quickly. Fauci had to come back and say what he said. And now the CDC director had to tell the president, no, we warned you. We did see this coming. What's going on over there, in your opinion?
Well, I think the Biden administration is getting eaten alive by the bureaucracy, because the left believes in big government bureaucracy, and they believe in putting everything in one basket. So for over the past year, the Biden administration has been focused on vaccination, which is fine, but they've been not focusing enough on treatments and getting tests out to people. And now you're seeing the results of that as the vaccinated and the unvaccinated continue to get this disease. And when it comes to what Greg is saying and giving the politicians and the government a little bit of grace maybe and patience, I think a lot of people are over that, and there comes a point where you have to say no. You have to say, no, I'm not going to show my papers to get into a restaurant. No, I'm not going to do X, Y, and Z. You saw the election in Virginia. It was actually not just about the economy in Virginia for the governorship. It was about getting rid of a lot of these obsessive COVID regulations when the majority of the country has moved on. The White House panicked about Omicron, and then they turned right around and said that we don't know. You know, Anthony Fauci said that you all need to go out and get a test before Christmas, which then flooded the testing sites with healthy people who don't have symptoms. So people who have symptoms can no longer get a test. They created the crisis that they're in now, and they have no plans to get out of it other than mandating Americans do even more than they've already done so far.
All right, wrap it up, Dana.
Okay, so I think that everyone has been way too easy on the Biden administration here, and I am glad that I'm going to bring the hammer down, because they said they were going to follow the science. Yep. They literally said they were going to follow science. They said they're going to crush the virus. And if you and I all know that the South Africans said on November 8th that we have a new variant, and we knew Christmas was also always on December 25th, how could they possibly say that they didn't know? And that there weren't a million reporters today saying, you better own up to this. It surprises me. If that had happened to a Republican administration, that would have been the only thing we talked about today. They've got some big problems there, and I don't think they're going to get solved. They're going to be saved by the February 1st bell, though, because I do think that we'll actually see people. They'll get a lot of people are going to get this. I'm sorry for the people that are going to have a lot of discomfort or maybe even hospitalized, but the data coming from South Africa and the UK shows that it probably will not be that way. What's really causing the problems is that what Greg mentioned, which is the CDC protocol, that if you test positive, you automatically have to quarantine for 10 days. That means that nobody can do anything. You can't go to work and you can't go shopping, you can't do anything. So we all have to figure out a way to pressure the CDC to really look at that. Today, the UK went from 10 to 7. The last thing I would say is they own everything that is wrong with the testing. And it touches everybody. If you have people standing in line in 30-degree weather for 4 hours, and that leads the news, as it did last night on network news, and it was in the Daily this morning, and it led NPR. Like, this is permeated all across the country. So you'll see those approval numbers on coronavirus go down.
Wow, when Dana
Again,
Perino's dropping the hammer, harder than Gutfeld and Katie. Watch out, White House. You guys better get it together. All right, coming up, the squad smears against Joe Manchin going to a whole new level.